Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I wanted to talk about my March TBR. So my February TBR was kind of a little bit overwhelming, and I didn't finish all of the books on that TBR. So some of them are being carried over from last month. Those being War and Peace, which I am buddy reading from Stephanie over at Miss Richards Reads, and The Mysteries of Udolpho, which I was reading for Feb Regency, which is now March Regency, I guess. I am participating in a couple different reading challenges this month, the most notable one being Middle Grade March, which I love and is probably like my favorite event that happens on BookTube every year. It's hosted by Krista over at Books and Jams, Katie at Life Between Words, and Amanda from The Curly Reader. So I'll link their channels down below because I know that they are going to have just amazing Middle Grade March content coming out. They already have. They've had some great recommendation videos and just, yeah, so much fun, and I'm so excited. I love Middle Grade March so much. So for Middle Grade March, every year they do a group read that like everyone reads and then they discuss together, usually in a live or something. So this year's group read is Pony. This is by the same author who wrote Wonder, which a lot of people really loved. I enjoyed it too. I read it. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I actually have no clue what it's about. I haven't even read the description, but I had seen it at my library and I just like love this horse on the cover. Or maybe pony, who knows. So let's go through the prompts. There are 5 different prompts, and some of these were more difficult to find books that would fit than others. The first prompt I have here is an orphan as the main character, and sometimes that can be difficult to find books where that fits without it being spoilery at all, because if they're not an orphan in the beginning of the book, then it can be spoilery to find out whether or not they become orphans. So the book that I chose for this one is probably kind of a unusual pick, and that's The Purloining of Prince Oleomargarine. And this is a Mark Twain book, but he had only written like the outline of it before he died, and it was like based on like a story that he told his children, and he had like the notes written down to like fully write it and just never did. And so this is them like taking his notes and then writing the story. I'm not totally sure what I'm going to think about this, but I was really drawn to this book and got it from Book Outlet a while ago, thinking it was actually by Mark Twain and not realizing that it's also by Philip Stead. So the illustrations in it are so pretty, as you can see on the cover, but they're really cute on the inside too. I promise there are more words in this. I chose a weird page. But it is pretty short, so I think that will help me because I have a lot of books going on this month. The next prompt is that it has 5 or more words in the title. So for that prompt, I'm going for A Ceiling Made of Eggshells by Gail Carson Levine. When I think of Gail Carson Levine, I pretty much always think of fairy tale retellings because I love Ella Enchanted by her, and so this is not a fairy tale retelling. I don't know. I don't think it has any like magical elements in it, but I could be wrong about that. It is a historical fiction about Jews in Spain, I think. I've heard some people really like this book, and then some people kind of have more of a middling opinion on it. So I'm not sure, but I really love Gail Carson Levine, so I'm looking forward to giving it a try. So the next prompt is a contemporary, and I actually have 2 books that could work for this. This one, Bluish, this is on my Reader Rid project for the year, and it is like a very short little book. So it would be easy to read this one, but I have a book I got from the library that I'm actually kind of more interested in reading, and that's The Line Tender by Kate Allen. I love this cover. Like, one of the prettiest covers I have seen in a while. As you might suppose from the cover, it has to do with marine biology. I don't know if I feel like the girl's mother has passed away, so I feel like it's gonna deal with grief and stuff too, but I'm not sure. But I really have wanted to read this one for a while. I've had it out from the library for way too long, so I either need to read it or return it. So the next prompt is that it either has an Asian protagonist or has an Asian setting. And you might know, if you have seen my more recent video and also my Instagram page, my daughter and I are currently studying Korea because we are obsessed with K-pop. So I have some books for this that I might read with her, but I might read independently. We are reading A Single Shard right now by Linda Sue Park. But I'm not really counting that because we have already started it and I'm going to finish it pretty early in the month, and we're actually kind of like reading it for school. So I also have Seesaw Girl by Linda Sue Park, and this is like very short with like illustrations. So don't think it'll be an issue to get to this one. I may also read When You Trap a Tiger. This one is a much newer book by Tay Keller. I've heard good things about this and I love the cover, and it actually deals with Korean folklore, which is really fun because we are going to be doing some studying of Korean folklore. I have a book full of children's folk tales from Korea. So this would be really fun for that. So if I finish this one's going to be the first one that I read. If I finish this one, I'm going to read this one next. And the last prompt is a book that is older than you. So for that book, I'm going with Little Lord Fauntleroy by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And this is the book that I think I'm actually the most excited to read for middle grade March. I love Frances Hodgson Burnett. The Secret Garden was like my favorite book as a child, and I still absolutely love it. And I love A Little Princess. So I think that I'm really going to enjoy this one as well. It definitely has some differences, I'm sure. I think there's no description on the back, but I was looking online because I was trying to see if this would qualify for an orphan main character, and it doesn't because his mother is still living. But his father has passed away. I think they're living in America, and he finds out that he is heir to some sort of fortune in England. And so then they move to England, I think. So I don't know. I think I'm really gonna love it. So I'm really excited about this one. It is also on my 5-star predictions list for the year as well. I have many other middle grade books that I would love to get to, but we'll kind of see. I'm trying to not overextend myself because I do have quite a few other things going on this month. The other readathon that I am participating in this month is Koreadathon, which is Korean themed, which just fits perfectly right now with what we're studying in our homeschool, and then just our love and obsession for all things Korean right now. It's just the perfect timing. So this readathon is hosted by Monica Kim and Books with Chloe, I think. So I'll have their channels linked down below, and it takes place, I think it's from March 7th through the 13th. They have quite a few prompts, but I'm not going to be doing all the prompts because I have so many other books. So there's really just like 2 books that I am planning to read for this. So one of the prompts is historical fiction. And so this is a middle grade book, and it actually works for middle grade March as well. But I have this book by Linda Sue Park, When My Name Was Kyoko, and this is about the Japanese imperialists invading Korea during World War II. So it's told from the perspective of a young girl who lives in Korea at the time, and apparently the Japanese came in and actually made all the Koreans change their name to Japanese names. So that is the reason for the title. I could technically put Seesaw Girl in this category too, because I'm reading that for middle grade March, but I really want to read this one as well. So I'm putting this one here, but Seesaw Girl will work as well because that's a historical fiction that takes place, I think, in like 17th century Korea, which I forgot to mention when I held it up when I was talking about middle grade March. So one of those 2 will work. And then this other book fits several prompts. It fits, one of the prompts is translated from Korean. Another one is recommended by a Korean celebrity, and then also award-winning, and I think this book won awards, but I'm not totally sure. That book is Please Look After Mom by Kyung-Suk Shin. This book was recommended by RM from BTS, and I think some of the other members from BTS might have read this as well and enjoyed it, but I know that RM has recommended it, and Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space read this book like a couple of months ago, I think, and really enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think maybe it's like a thriller, but it's definitely like mysterious, because I think that like these people's mother goes missing, and they are looking for her, and they just find out all kinds of things they didn't know about her. So it's like very family centric. And I feel like I've heard some people categorize it as a mystery / thriller, but as far as I know, it's not like an American mystery / thriller, which is great. because I don't tend to always love American thrillers because they just tend to be kind of forgettable for me. They follow a lot of the same tropes and stuff. So, as far as I remember Christy talking about, this book has a lot of like character development, which means that I will really enjoy it a lot probably. I'm also excited because some of the prompts for Koreadathon are not book-based. Like one of them is to cook a Korean meal or dish, and I'm really excited because I have some recipes already set to try for our Korean unit study. So I will probably, maybe I'll vlog during that week and share some of the cool food that we're eating. It's super fun. And then the other one is to watch a Korean film or show, which I'm kind of already doing. I'm in the middle of watching Startup with some friends, which is really fun. It's like my K-drama night, which is so fun. And then I have talked Peter into starting K-drama, and we have started Miss Sang. I don't like it as much as Startup. So, but we're really early in. So I'm gonna give it some time before we decide whether or not we want to switch to something else. But that should not be an issue because I'm watching like 1 to 2 episodes of a K-drama every week. So that works out just fine. As you might know, every month I have been doing the Buzzwordathon hosted by Books and Lala, and then the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, which is hosted by Chantel at An Intentional Life. And I have been using that to kind of read through my reader read stack for this year, which are books that I need to have read by the end of the year, or I'm just going to get rid of them. So for Buzzwordathon, the prompt for March is a location. So for that, I'm going with another middle grade, and that's Moon Over Manifest. Manifest, I think, is the name of the town. And it's about a girl in, I want to say it's like the 1930s or something, that goes and moves to this town. And I really don't know anything about it other than that, but it did win a Newbery, so it's probably pretty good. So that is the book that I'm going to read for that one. And then for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, the prompt is growth. And so I had like so many books that I could choose for this. I decided I'm going to try to read News of the World by Paulette Giles. This is not a middle grade, unlike most of the books that I'm reading this month, but it is pretty short. It's like under 200 pages, so I think it would be doable for me to try to read this one. And there's lots of really pretty, you know, trees and grass on the front. This is, I think, about like a man who like travels, and I don't know if he's writing for a newspaper or what, and I think that like he comes across this child that he takes with him. I don't know that much about it, but I do know they made it into a movie semi-recently, like within the last few years. So I don't know. I got this for free, so I'm not really too concerned as to whether or not like I love it or end up getting rid of it, but I've heard good things about it, so I'm gonna give this one a try. On top of all this, because I'm not reading enough already this month, I have some buddy reads this month. So the one that I am probably the most excited about is I'm reading Morning Star. This is book 3 of the Red Rising trilogy, which I think is now like 5 books. I don't know if like the trilogy wraps up enough that you could call it like the first trilogy, because I think book 6 comes out like this year. So I don't know if that's like a second trilogy or if they're all together. And I don't want to Google it because I don't want to be spoiled. But anyways, I'm reading this with Dia. I'm super pumped. We read Red Rising together last fall, and then in February we read Golden Sun, and ever since I finished Golden Sun, I have been longing to pick up Middle Star. Like, oh my goodness. I had such a book hangover after Golden Sun, like I have not had in a really, really long time. Like the end of that book was just bananas. Like what a ride. Such a good book. So really looking forward to reading this one. The next book I'm reading is a nonfiction, and it's kind of a big one, but it's not only going to be read in March, it's going to be read also in April as well, and that is Dietrich Bonhoeffer's Letters and Papers from Prison. I am buddy reading this with Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space and Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, and we're reading this over the course of Lent. So this will be, you know, all of March and part of April. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I really love Dietrich Bonhoeffer, but I hadn't even heard of this book. They were reading it and asked if I wanted to join them. So I'm really, really excited about this one. And then the last book, I think, this is a lot of books. The last book I am buddy reading with Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot, and that is Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods. This is on my nonfiction TBR for this year, and it also won the BookTube spin for the first quarter of the year. So I'm really excited to read this one. This is a nonfiction, like I said, and I think it's kind of like travel oriented. And I've heard that Bill Bryson's writing is actually quite funny. So this is very different from all the other books that I have, and it's the only one that I feel like is kind of like light and humorous. So I think that this is going to be a really good book to just kind of mix things up. I'm sitting here looking at all these books, and there's a really good chance I'm not going to read them all. I mean, the good part is that a lot of these are middle grade books, and middle grade books are shorter. A lot of times I can read them in a day or maybe 2 days, just kind of depending. But I'm also hoping to finally finish War and Peace this month. So we'll see what happens, I guess. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Are you participating in Middle Grade March or Koreadathon or March Mystery Madness or March of the Mammoths? Like, there are so many amazing and really awesome readathons that are happening this month. I wish I could participate in every single one, but I have my work cut out for me with just the 2 that I'm doing and buddy reads. So I'd love to hear what you are the most excited about reading this month. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.